Back to our city, where I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Robert Higgs, who's the pastor at the First Presbyterian Church on Broad Street in our city. One of the things we were talking about is the cemetery, but there's also other renovations that you're doing. And Academy House is going to serve the people. And you and I have had conversations along this, along with some of the elders of the church.
Yes.
Please tell us what Academy House is, first of all, and what you plan to do.
Well, Academy House is a large building situated at the corner of Caldwell Place and Broad Street. And it's very deceiving because it looks like it's a two-story building, but it's really a four-story building on the inside. It's 20,000 square feet. And we really see this as a project that can really help with the revitalization efforts that you're doing with Midtown. The features that we plan for it include a museum that will be dedicated to sharing the history of the Revolution, especially as it affected Elizabethtown and the region. Auditorium that seats 200 people, that can be a community theater, a place for concerts and films and bringing folks together. And then there's a wide variety of space. On the second floor there is a open-air art studio that we hope will attract artists and sculptors who are looking for a convenient location to do their work.
And Dr. Higgs, the green space along Broad Street,
yes,
there's a lot of legend about that the Revolutionary soldiers actually marched up and down there. The Civil War soldiers were further down the street on Union Square, and Elizabeth is where they gathered. But are there plans for that green space, or does that remain green?
Well, the green space, we really hope to be working with the Special Improvement District to host all kinds of events there. I think it would be an ideal place for a farmer's market, a place that we can have an arts and crafts show and people erecting their booths and stands to show things, and really anything that will bring more people into Midtown. Now with the new parking garage getting finished, we think that more and more people will want to come to Midtown to enjoy it, to shop and to dine, and we really want to be part of
We
that
had an
scene.
Easter egg hunt there last couple of years, which is a lot of kids on the lawn running around.
And then during the Four Centuries weekend, there's an historical reenactment. And those are two great events, but we would like to see that place used every single week.
That'd be great, and plus the cemetery and the history. And
yes.
Now, is there anybody in your church that is actually knows everything? I mean, is there a historian of that cemetery that
I would say that,
or is it more written down and you can read about it?
Well, Nancy Altenberg has been associated with the church since the 50s, and she knows so much about it. And then Rafael Rodriguez has been with the church for over 20 years. And so they're my go-to people when I have history questions. And if they don't know where to find it, they'll find it somewhere.
They're two good people.
Very good people.
And remembering history, you consider yourself a historian? Do you like history, or did you get thrown into a historical parish and say, I better start to like history because it's going to kind of dominate a lot of my sermons, or at least questions after church Sunday anyway?
Well, I was a history major undergraduate, and I just bought my Discover New Jersey history license plates, which are on my car. But I think we are lost for the future unless we understand our past. And it's especially important, given the diversity of Elizabeth, that we welcome newcomers to the city to let them know what all is happening here and why this is important to them. Because if you think about it, the people who came to settle this area in 1664 came for the same reasons that people are coming today. New opportunity, new chance, a chance to use their talents and abilities to their fullest. And I think if we can make that connection and show that newcomers are as welcome and this history speaks to them, we're going to build an even stronger city.
And that's really great. I mean, because the city of Elizabeth is built around churches.
Yes.
And we've had different denominations of churches for all 350 years, and as you know, we're coming up on our 350th anniversary, and they have really congregated around churches. The first church probably being the church that you're now the pastor of.
Absolutely.
Now the church across the street, and you had St. Mary's, which was pretty old. And I don't know if you know this, but the church across the street is where Mother Seton's parents were married.
Oh, okay.
In that church, and it was actually St. Mary's was sprung off from that church back in the 1800s. The church and the academy are going to play a role on the upcoming 350th anniversary. And
yes.
We're going to need to form some. What do you envision?
Well, I see the 350th anniversary as an opportunity for us as New Jerseyans to really come together and concentrate on the core values that have made this state what it is. New Jersey is a small place, but I think we'd agree that our contribution to the history of this country and the world far exceeds our population. And I think we can take this time to gather our enormous resources in industry and agriculture and education and manufacturing and get these folks together and say, what's really important? And then when we discover what's really important, then we can shape our policies at the governmental level and whatever based on those priorities. So I think the 350th anniversary can do far more than simply celebrate the fact of yeah, we're 350 years old. I think it's an opportunity for reflection and reorientation for the future.
People want to get involved with your church or your historical efforts. How would they do it, and who would they call?
Well, they can call the church's main number, which is 353-1518. We have plenty of opportunities for people who want to do research, want to help us develop historic tours of the cemetery and plan the museum. We have places for artists who want to either set up shop there or help produce plays and book concerts and things like that. And we have people who just want to get involved in our overall operations. We are very, very happy to involve people because we think that being a cornerstone of Elizabeth, we want to have folks who represent the complete diversity of the city.
Dr. Higgs, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate all of your insight into the First Presbyterian Church as well as part of our history.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. For Dr. Robert Higgs, the pastor at First Presbyterian Church on Broad Street in the city of Elizabeth, I'm Chris Bolwage, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.